Hey goodies, welcome back to the channel. I'm back with another what I eat in a day to lose weight. For those of you who are new here, on this channel I share my keto tips, keto tricks, and delicious keto recipes full of flavor. If you're interested, please go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be in on all of my new videos. Okay, so today is Keto Restart Day 1. I'm going to be sharing with you what I typically eat in a day when I'm returning back to my keto way of eating and behaving myself. I am coming off of eating all the things for my birthday. I really enjoyed myself, hence my lost voice, but it's time for me to get back on track. So I'm starting off with a large glass of water, and I'm going to be chugging a couple of glasses of water until I feel actual hunger. I'm actually not hungry right now, but until I feel some hunger, I'll be sipping on some water and getting some work done. So I'll see you at my first meal. While I'm cooking my first meal, I'm going to start off with a dandelion tea blend that I got from my aunt. So I'm going to make it almost like I would make coffee, but instead of using coffee, I'm using the dandelion tea. And it has a lot of health benefits. I've been enjoying drinking this in the mornings as a replacement for coffee some mornings. And it gives me energy and it's very healthy. Check it out if you have a chance. So for my first meal of the day, I'm going to start out with some cauliflower hash browns. I warmed up a bag of rice cauliflower and I'm emptying it now into some paper towel because I'm going to squeeze out the excess moisture from the cauliflower. Here you can see I'm trying to do it while it's still hot. Don't follow me. Wait for it to cool down. But I'm squeezing out the excess moisture so that when we make our hash browns, they're not soggy. And there's better ways. You can use a strainer to do this, and I think you can use like a bag that's for squeezing out moisture to do this. But I use what I can when I have it. So I'm using paper towel and I'm squeezing out the water. So now that the cauliflower is drained of the water, I probably could have squeezed out a little bit more, but as I said, it was hot, so I did the best I could. I'm letting out the cauliflower now into the bowl so then we can start making our mixture to make our cauliflower hash browns. Now to our rice cauliflower, I'm going to add 2 eggs to the mixture, and then I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese, and these are going to bind the cauliflower together to make our cauliflower hash browns. So here I'm using about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then to that I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of mozzarella cheese. If you want to make it all Parmesan, you can do that. I just like to switch things up and add flavor. So now I'm adding some black pepper to that. You guys know I gotta season my food, and after the black pepper, I'm going to add some seasoned salt. You can use regular salt if you want, but I love to up the flavor. Now to that, I'm going to add some garlic powder for additional flavor, and then we're going to go ahead and mix that all up, and then we'll be ready to start forming our cauliflower hash browns. Just make sure you mix this very well and make sure that everything is equally incorporated so all of your hash browns taste the same. Now to my hot waffle maker, I'm going to add scoops of our cauliflower hash brown mix to the waffle maker, and I'm using the middle scoop in that 3-set scoop that I told you guys about because it always gives me the perfect amount. So I'm just going to spread that out evenly to make sure that our hash browns are fully cooked within the waffle maker, and make sure you press down tight so that it cooks properly. And this is how our first one came out. I could have put a little bit more around the edges to the left there, but this is how the first one came out, and I'm going to keep on making these until all of my mixture is completed. This batch of cauliflower hash brown mix is more than enough to make breakfast for this morning and several other mornings. So I'm just going to use up all of this mixture and then put up the rest in the fridge or the freezer for my other breakfasts. So while I was cooking my other cauliflower hash browns, I went ahead and fried up an egg and I think about 3 sausages and some cheese so I could make a cauliflower hash brown breakfast sandwich, and this is how it turned out. So yeah, this is going to be a very hearty first meal of the day and I'm going to enjoy it. I was feeling a little snackish and I didn't want to snack around because that could be a slippery slope. So I went ahead and made a little chopped salad here with some romaine lettuce, some ranch dressing, a little bit of cheese, and I think 2 or 3 slices of pre-cooked bacon. And yeah, I'm just going to enjoy this quick little salad until it's time for dinner because I don't want to do the little snacking around. Even with low carb snacks, I just want to keep it as clean as possible. So I'm going to eat this salad until I feel ready to cook the dinner. Now for dinner tonight, your girl is feeling fancy, so I'm going to go ahead and make some stuffed pork chops. First, I'm going to start off by seasoning the pork chops. These have been cleaned. You guys know how I do. And now I'm going to season it with some all-purpose seasoning, and then I'm hitting it with some Slap Your Mama seasoning. This seasoning tastes really good. I use it every now and again. So I'm sprinkling enough seasoning to cover each pork chop, and just keeping in mind that these are pretty thick pieces of pork chop, so I need to season it sufficiently. So now I'm going to add some smoked paprika, and that's going to add that smoky taste to our pork chops. Make sure it's well seasoned, and then to that I'm going to add some garlic powder just to bring everything together and make sure our pork chops are full of flavor. Now I'm going to hit it with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm going to use that olive oil to help me massage the flavors into our pork chop pieces. You see here they are very thick, so I just want to make sure that the seasoning is going all the way through. So I'm going to massage each piece very well and then let it sit until I am ready to stuff them. While we're letting our pork chops marinate, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 375 degrees and make the mixture. So I'm using ricotta cheese. This is the only brand of ricotta cheese that I use because it is absolutely delicious. I only use maybe the Aldi brand if I'm, short on time or I don't have time to go to the store that has it. But to the ricotta cheese, I'm going to add some spinach there. It's about a handful of spinach that I cut up. And then to that, I'm going to add some seasoned salt and some garlic powder. We have to make sure we keep the flavor going, the full flavor. And I'm going to mix it all up until it's all equally incorporated and make sure that we have the same amount of each ingredient in the stuffing and it all tastes the same. Now to that I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. I think I could say that's about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and I added a little bit of mozzarella, and I'm going to mix up this cheese mixture now, and this is our spinach and cheese mixture that we're going to stuff our pork chops with. Now before we stuff our pork chops, we have to make an opening in our pork chops. So here you're seeing again how thick they are. So I'm just starting in the center of the pork chops, and I'm just continuing in that straight line down the center, and this will make a little pocket so that we can stuff our cheese mixture into it. I'm going to continue doing this until I get a deep enough pocket so that the filling doesn't spew out of it or spill out of it once I start baking everything. So just make sure it's deep enough, not going to the edge, but just deep enough to get enough stuffing in there, and then keep doing the same thing for each of your pork pieces. So I'm going to show you again with another piece here. I start right down the center, making a straight line, and I just continue on that line, continue digging into that line until the pocket is deep enough so that I can stuff more mixture into there and the mixture does not fall out or spew out while it's baking. So I'm going to continue doing this until I finish all of them, and then we'll go ahead and start stuffing. So now that all of our pork pieces have pockets, I'm going to go ahead and start stuffing it with the cheese mixture. And I could be cute and use a spoon, but that would be a waste of time. So I'm just using my hand here to scoop up a good amount of the mixture and just push it deep into the pocket that we made with the knife, and then I put it on a baking dish here that I have a little bit of olive oil down on the dish. I don't know if you can see it there, but I just put a little olive oil there to make sure that it doesn't stick. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and stuff all of my pork pieces until they're all stuffed sufficiently, and then we can go ahead and bake. And remember, I have my oven preheated at 375, and we're going to cook them for about 15 to 20 minutes. You just want to keep checking your pork so that you don't overcook it, because it is very much possible to overcook your pork and then it's hard and not tasty. So just keep checking on your pork to make sure you don't overcook it. Now while those pork pieces are baking, I went ahead and I got some palmini noodles. I told you guys about this when I made my keto rasa pasta. If you have not checked out that video, please go check it out. So to season our parmesan noodles, I'm adding some ghee and some garlic powder and some all-purpose seasoning just to make sure that our noodles are full of flavor. The palmini noodles have a significant taste. I would say it has somewhat of a salty taste, so you don't want to add too much salt, but they are the closest things to real noodles that I have tasted so far in my keto lifestyle. So I'm really loving these noodles as the carbier replacements. So yeah, just season your noodles well and make sure that you cook them down to the softness that you want them to. So I'm just going to keep on moving them around, and here I added a little bit of seasoned salt, not too much, because like I said, they have a slight saltiness to them. And then I'm just going to keep moving it around just to remove some of that moisture and cooking it down to a softness that I want it to. And then we can go ahead now and plate our food. And this is how our keto stuffed pork chop dinner turned out. The noodles were creamy with the stuffing on it, and the pork chop was juicy. It was really good. So if you stuck it out with me to the end of this video, please go ahead and drop some sandwich emojis just to let me know that you stuck it out with me and you're showing my channel some love. I really appreciate it. Also hit that like button if you enjoyed my what I eat in a day. Thanks for being here, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.